Hey there, and welcome. Today we're going to dive into a really profound ethical question that sits right at the heart of modern medicine: donor integrity. To put it simply, when is it okay to harm one healthy person in order to save another? All right, let's kick things off with a hypothetical case, the exact kind of thing medical students wrestle with. Just imagine a classroom, and they're debating the ethics of someone donating an organ while they're still alive. And really, their entire debate boils down to this one single, powerful question: is it morally right to surgically harm a perfectly healthy person, even if they're totally okay with it, all for the benefit of somebody else?
So right away, the students bring up this, really crucial point. Donating an organ gives zero physical benefit to the donor. Actually, it's the opposite. It comes with risks and involves, well, the mutilation of a healthy body. So the real question becomes, how on earth can you justify an act like that?
Okay, so to get how we answer this today, we've actually got to hop in a time machine for a second and look at the traditional roadblock, a very old ethical idea called the principle of integrity.
See, back before the 1950s, the thinking was totally different. The big idea was this principle of totality and integrity. And what it said was you could only deliberately harm a part of someone's body if it was absolutely necessary to save or preserve the health of that very same person. Here's a classic example that makes it super clear: amputating a gangrenous foot. Now, that's a major harm to a body part, no doubt, but it's totally justified because it saves the person's life. The part is sacrificed for the good of the whole person. Makes sense, right? But check out what happens when you try to apply that same logic to organ donation. Removing a healthy kidney to give to someone else is suddenly not justified. And why not? Well, because the surgery doesn't help the donor's health one bit, it only helps someone else. For a very long time, this was a complete ethical dead end.
So you can see the problem, right? How did we get past it? Well, as medicine got better and better, ethicists knew they needed a fresh take. And they found it by looking outside of medicine, at a simple but powerful concept: charity, or what you might call fraternal love. And this quote right here just nails the idea. I mean, in every other part of life, we totally get it. We even admire it when people make sacrifices for others out of love, even if it means a little discomfort or harm to themselves. Just think about it with this analogy. It makes so much sense. We would all call someone a hero for running into a burning house to save a baby, right? That's an act of huge personal risk for the good of another. So the argument became, why can't donating an organ be seen in the same light as this profound act of charity? And just like that, you've got this classic ethical showdown with two really powerful ideas staring each other down. So on one side, you have that old integrity principle, which says, nope, you can't harm the body unless it's for the person themselves. But on the other side, you've got the argument for charity, which says, well, actually, you can harm yourself for the good of someone else. One says no, the other says yes. It's a total conflict.
So, what gives? Which one wins? Is one right and the other just wrong? Or maybe, just maybe, there's a totally different way to look at this whole thing.
And this is where the big breakthrough came in. See, the solution wasn't about picking a winner. It was about making this one key distinction that changed the entire conversation. What ethicists did was brilliant. They split the idea of integrity into two different types. First, there's anatomical integrity. Think of it like your body's physical parts list, just having all your original equipment. But then there's functional integrity. And this is all about your body's ability to work, the ability of the whole system to run properly. The big insight is that it's not about the parts list. It's about whether the machine still runs. And this is where it all clicks into place. Let's trace the logic for a kidney donation. Does the donor lose anatomical integrity? Absolutely. An organ is physically gone. But, and here's the key, do they lose functional integrity? Nope. Because that other kidney just picks up the slack and the body keeps working just fine. That's why it's ethically okay. Now, let's flip that. Imagine someone donating a cornea while they're alive. They lose the part for sure, but they also lose function. Their vision is permanently damaged, and that's why it's not okay. And that right there is the big takeaway, the absolute bottom line. The thing we have to preserve is the donor's functional integrity. Keeping all your original parts, your anatomical integrity, that's not the ethical deal breaker. Okay, so let's put this all together. What does today's ethical framework actually look like? Well, it's a clear two-part rule that guides these life-saving decisions.
It really comes down to two simple things. First, the act has to come from a place of genuine charity. It has to be a free gift to help someone else. And second, the donor's functional integrity, their overall health and ability to live a normal life, has to stay intact. If you can check both of those boxes, the act is considered ethically sound.
You know, this framework was this incredible solution to a huge 20th century problem. But it does leave us with one final thought, right? As our medical tech just keeps leaping forward, what kind of new, maybe even unforeseen ethical challenges is this very framework gonna have to face in our century?